Vegas line for the Chargers is 8.5. So they think Chargers have a chance of being 9-8 next year. Vegas does with this 8.5 number, which I looking at a team that just as depleted with their weapons, the offense they've had for the last few years. No Eckler, no Keenan Allen. And you're going to rely on guys like Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer, and Quentin Johnson. I mean, I just feel like there's too many unknowns with that. Then also, too, the O-line aspect. What's going to happen with that? Is all going to be this all-world left tackle that we thought? How's Rashawn Slater going to be able to, go to the right side? I mean, there's a lot of unknowns there. Their defense was really bad last year. What's going to happen with that? Well, Khalil Mack, because there's points last year, Khalil Mack looked not washed, but he didn't look like Khalil Mack that we've grown to seen over the last few years. Bosa can't stay on the field. He's always injured. So there's a lot there, and 8.5. And I feel like the team that went 5-12 last year. You're giving them 4 wins based on the coach, right? I mean, because if you look at their additions, they had some okay additions, but I mean, you're giving them 4 wins because you think Harbaugh is going to give them that extra edge to push them over to get to 9 wins next year. And I would take the under on this. And you're saying 8.5 here, and then the Raiders had 6.5. I think the Raiders have more to that team than the Chargers do. And you and I both like the coaching staff over there in Vegas. So between the two, I'm honestly, and I know it's one of the only team was Broncos and the Raiders beat us last year, but of the Chargers, I'm not scared of this team at all. I'm more scared of the Raiders as far as taking a win from us in next year. But Chargers, no, I would out with this team. Harbaugh, yeah, sure, it gives them a little bit a little personality, a little edge.
Sure.
That they didn't have last year with Staley, but like, I don't see this 8.5 at all. I really don't get it. But then we our head to heads with them. We got week 4, we got week 14 against the Chargers. JD, what do you think about this 8.5 number? Or do you see the logic behind this, or are you with me on this?
You know what? We can never downplay leadership. Leadership is important, and like I said before, they have a very good head coach in Harbaugh. So what he embodies, he's going to put into the team, and they're going to rally around him. He's going to change the culture from whatever it has been for the past few years. You had to, kind of dealing with some of the mess that we kind of seen, right? And that's why he had to move on from the coach. So I think they feel like they got their guy. But he's going to demand these guys come out there and play for it. He is. He's going to demand these guys going to come out to play for him. I want to start writing down. Let me see the wins and losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty good. 8.5. I almost got 9 wins.
Wow. What are the wins?
So I got on the wins, I have them beating. So we'll start with it. Beating Las Vegas, beating Carolina. So they'll start out with 2 wins. Then they're going to lose 2 in a row. They'll lose against Pittsburgh up in Pittsburgh. They lose against the Chiefs there. Then they got a bye week. Gives them time to regroup, let Harbaugh get in their tail a little bit. You know what I'm saying? What do we come out here for? We coming out here to demand him. He'll get them back rallying together. So they'll come back, man, beating Denver. They'll beat Arizona, and I think they beat New Orleans. So they'll have another streak of wins, about 3. Then they'll lose to Cleveland. And this was a toss-up, win or lose against Titans, but it's in SoFi, so I think they'll beat them. It's going to be a close game. And then they get up there to Cincinnati. They'll lose to Cincinnati. They'll lose to the Ravens. Then they'll beat Atlanta. Lose to the Chiefs, beat Tampa Bay. Broncos. I'm laughing because Marcus is a big Baker Mayfield fan. I just.
You looked right at me when you said that too.
They'll beat New England. And they'll lose to Vegas, the last. And I think they lose. I got them losing to Denver the second time.
So splitting.
So that's what it will be. They will be 9-8 at the end of the year.
Wow. And you had the Raiders 10 wins, 10, 11 wins last week?
I had them, I think, around 9 myself. I think it was.
But
Yeah.
you had the Raiders making a wild card push, right?
It depends on how it all plays out. I didn't go back to my list and check it out though. But I did say that the 6 wins is completely disrespectful. I really do. They're a much better team than that. There's 6.5 or 6 wins, whatever they had them at. I think it's completely disrespectful. Like I said, Antonio Pierce and those guys, they rally around him. He's gonna give a good showing. The division is going to be much better than it was last year for sure. Okay, and so there's going to be some teams, man. We've got capable coaches that's going to get guys ready. That's the thing about it. They're going to get guys ready. And so, look, we got Harbaugh, we got Antonio Pierce, and we got Sean Payton. 3 good head coaches, okay? 3 good head coaches. And so they're going to get those guys ready to come play. Every game that the Chiefs have against our divisional opponents is going to be a hard game. I'm telling you, this year. And especially because everybody knows what the Chiefs are trying to do. They understand that they're chasing history at this moment, okay? They're trying to have a pity party. They're going to try to absolutely destroy what the Chiefs are doing, okay? Every single one of them. And so they're going to try to get a piece, and just take them out. That's what's going to happen. So they're going to look, man, they're going to come with the Chiefs. They're going to give them everything they got. The guys will be ready for it, but because I think we just got a better team overall from up and down, head coach to, offense, to defense. We just got a much better team. So I don't think we have the questions like they do, like these other teams do, but without a doubt, they're coming for us.
I'll tell you what, that week 1 game, Chargers and Raiders, that's going to tell you a lot about both teams, JD. I think based on, there's 2 ways you go with this. You go, 1, we don't know what the Chargers are going to be when they come out the gates to start off with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And you could say Antonio Pierce, those guys are ready to fight for this guy. They all kind of rallied for towards the end of last year, and they can come out right away and shut Jim Harbaugh up and make a statement. And even though the Chargers are 5-12, but they're not being treated as a 5-12 team. They're being treated as a team that could get a playoff spot because of Jim Harbaugh, because of Herbert. Absolutely. If you're the Raiders, you can come out right at the gate and say, "Hey, we're gonna take down Jim Harbaugh and this team that everyone thinks is gonna come in and because of him, and they're gonna be a team at the top of the AFC West." Raiders can make a huge statement right out the gate to beat Harbaugh, and then they can kind of turn that to being like motivation for week 1, is that everyone picking the Chargers to be this other team.
Right. That's why I had them, getting 2 wins right off the bat. I think you rally them, because you're home very first game. And then you go against Carolina Panthers. That should be an easy one for you. It should be. So you're flying high, and then you had to go and play Pittsburgh. Okay. Then the Chiefs. So we'll cut them back down to size. Harbaugh eating some, humble pie. Like I said, getting their tail a little bit. Hey man, what we doing? Okay. And then they'll try to rally it again. Like I said, for 3 wins. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm next week we'll get into the Broncos. I'm really not. I'm interested to see how the quarterback situation goes there, because I think I read today that Zach Wilson's getting some first team reps with the Broncos, which is kind of funny to me because they're paying so high on Bo Nix, but they're giving Zach Wilson, who I think we've all seen enough of Zach Wilson. Maybe change of scenery will help him, but I mean I think we've already been there, done that. We've seen that movie a couple times with Zach Wilson. I want to see the young buck Bo Nix, but I mean, obviously they have a method to the madness over there. But yeah, between the Chargers and Raiders, that's the dueling matchup that I'm very curious to see as far as who's going to take the second seed in the AFC West, who's going to be the number 2 team behind us. Yeah. And I know everyone's buying the Harbaugh stuff. I think that I think it's going to be a tough time now. I think the Raiders are going to be a tough team, even though their quarterback situation is really murky. We don't know what's going to happen with Aiden O'Connell or our guy Gardner Minshew. I don't know. That week 1 game, I'm very curious to see how that game goes between those 2 teams.
Yeah, that'd be a good challenge, man. That's a good spot to kind of know where you are. What you're doing is it working? Okay, are you communicating to these young guys that they understand what it takes to win in the NFL. So when he says Harbaugh has to rebuild this season, yeah, definitely. John Clifford said they'll lose to Raiders twice, Atlanta and Tampa. I don't think they'll lose to Atlanta or Tampa. And they won't lose to the Raiders twice. They lose to them once. I think one time would probably be it. I think Harbaugh, he'll just because of his, because like you said, the quarterback position is a little murky for him, right?
No, I agree. I think they'll split with the Raiders.
Yes.
The Atlanta game, it's at Atlanta, man. That's a tough place to play for a team that's going to be pretty much full of young guys.
Atlanta's not that intimidating.
No,
they still gotta, they still have some things they need to do. My thing is, they're gonna have a capable pass rush if Bosa stays healthy, right? You got Bud Dupree there, so they're gonna bring some defense. They're gonna play some defense. We know they got some talented guys in the secondary, so they ain't chopped liver out there with the Chargers. I know what everybody's thinking about, but that's just not going to be a walk in the park. And so I think that's what's going to be the question. It really is going to be the question. How the young guys, how they respond to being in certain situations. That's why I said when young guys are going to have to be playing in Pittsburgh early, they'll be intimidated with that. That's a whole different environment than it is in Atlanta. I've been down there to Atlanta a few times, obviously, when Tony was playing, but my brother, he has season tickets. He's a season ticket holder with the Falcons. And I love it because he wears my jersey out there. He wears 89 Dunn across his back, baby. Yeah, every time he got it.
Do people think you're related to Warwick Dunn? Have you gotten that question a lot over the years?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Or they thought, what's the name of the wide receiver that played up in Cincinnati? Is it David Dunn?
I remember there was Adam Dunn, the baseball player. David Dunn.
I think it was David Dunn, wide receiver.
The Bengals receiver?
Yeah. He was a Dunn.
Right, yeah, David Dunn.
Yeah. So I've got nabbed. Like, oh yeah, Ward Dunn. I'm like, no, we're not related. Mm-hmm.
There was a question about Harbaugh from Lacey Snake. Do y'all think Harbaugh feels like he has something to prove? He comes off very confident, but tons more pressure now. JD, do you think he has a lot to prove?
I think so. Like I said, he's been watching his little brother go in and have a lot of success. I do believe he has a lot to prove. And the reason is because when he left out of, the NFL, he goes to college. I perceive that as almost a step down. That's just me. A lot of other people do too. Maybe he had to go and regroup or whatever he had to do. He felt like that was a good fit for him at the time. But I think ultimately this is the pinnacle that everybody wants to be in as far as professional sports. And so for him, because he got to the Super Bowl, he's been very successful. He just hadn't been able to do it yet. And so he has a lot to prove. And that's the reason I think he came back. This is kind of like his calling. It's his calling. His brother's in here. He's in here. So, yeah, I think this is where he wants to be ultimately.
Yeah. A lot of people are upset with his decision to go to an AFC team, saying that he had a bigger shot to go somewhere in the NFC because, you're going to be going against the juggernaut, the Chiefs in the AFC. It'll be easier to come out of the NFC.
That's what he wanted, though. He wanted that challenge. And here's the thing: you got your brother. His brother's in AFC. He's in AFC, right? So maybe for him, he just foresaw like, look, you know what? One of us had to knock the Chiefs off. So who's it going to be? So
yeah, and when he's watching the playoffs this year, he's going to have 2 games of film to be helping his brother out to help them game plan against us if we play them in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, Ghost 102 at 1974 said he's got to see his little brother lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs too. Yes, he has. They've had that conversation. I guarantee it. I promise you. John was watching the game, and Jim was John was at the game, and Jim was absolutely watching the game. And I guarantee, just like every other coach, how come you're not attacking them here? How come you're not attacking them there? And I guarantee they had a full conversation after that loss. Promise you on that.
Why did you abandon the run?
Yeah. Why do you abandon the run? Why didn't you try to do a little bit more with Lamar? right?
Yeah.
So
Why don't you run the ball more with Gus? And then what happens? He ends up picking up Gus, and we'll probably see a heavy dose of Gus in the beginning of the year next year.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I said he wanted that payday, no doubt about it.
that too.
Yeah, but
But
that's why when he said he was going to Minnesota, Michigan was like, "Hold on, we'll give you what do you want? We'll give you everything that you need." It was too lucrative of a deal for him to pass up. So,
hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.